Now, a few days ago, I was speaking to a guy who was a pretty close acquaintance. I wouldn't really say a friend, but we socialized with each other a lot when I was living in Southeast Asia many years ago. And he's now well into his 50s, and he's consistently, from his late 20s until his mid 50s, he's been making about $250,000 per year after tax, or sometimes it's been a bit less or a bit more, and obviously you have to adjust for inflation and so on. But he's been making very comfortable money, and unlike, say, if you're in San Francisco, the center of San Francisco, most people say, well, this guy must be rich, right? He's making $250,000 a year after tax. He's been living in places like Indonesia, Cambodia. He was living in Hong Kong when it was cheaper than it was now. Surely he's got a lot of money, right? But in reality, he actually doesn't have much money, and it's quite simple the reason why. In terms of, he's spending a hell of a lot of money keeping up with the Joneses. He's gotten into habits as well. It's not easy to change somebody's habits. If they're in their mid 50s, they've been getting into the same habits for 20 years. It's not very easy. And also, I think in a lot of countries in Asia, whether it's Indonesia, whether it's Hong Kong, whether it's Singapore, certain things are very cheap, but certain things are very expensive. Like going to an expat bar for 10 hours, you could be talking about $500, $1,000 quite easily, right? In some of the flashier bars. So the point is, if you look at this rationally, $25,000 a month, even if it's after tax, that's less than $1,000 per day. Now, let's say he's spending $5,000 a month on rent, that's $20,000 left. Or let's say he's spending $5,000 including rent, bills, including car bills, electricity, water, he's left with $20,000 a month. You might say that's still a lot of money, right? But that's about $700 a day. If you've got bad spending habits, you can always find things to spend that on. I'm sure if you went online now, you could find so many ways to spend $700 just on a click. An iPhone, all right, that's 1,000 maybe you're spending, but that's a one-off cost. But still, if you go on Amazon, you could easily spend more than $700 in a few minutes, never mind an hour. So the point is, this is a great case study of somebody who's been making quite good, comfortable, upper middle, if not high income for decades, and yeah, he's broke. So that's a typical case study of something to avoid. Once you start making money, really avoid this kind of lifestyle. And I think the key mistakes are getting into bad habits, keeping up with the Joneses, and also thinking that tomorrow will never come, right? Well, now he's in his mid 50s and he's starting to regret it a bit because he's starting to lose his health a little bit. Not much, but things are starting to happen to him more. He spent 2 months in hospital. He's getting better, fortunately, now, but that's really focused his mind on wealth now because he knows he's getting much older because his body's taking longer to recover and so on. He's not old yet, but he's thinking, well, in 20 years I will be old, and the last 20 years have gone quickly. So really avoid this situation in this kind of example as per this case study.